Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 395. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. Just hanging out, raking leaves, because there's a lot of leaves on the ground. It seems to never end.
I'll see. I had this conversation with somebody that also lives like in a more urban environment, like yourself. And the move out here is to say, fuck it, and let the leaves just sit.
Yeah.
And apparently in more urban environments, that is very frowned upon.
Yeah, I think just because like my such small plot of land, it can really. This is the Leaf podcast now, folks. It can really affect the quality.
No
of
interviews.
The
We got to talk about leaves.
Yeah, interview backed out again. So, I think it affects the groundwater runoff and stuff. So, yeah, you don't need water in the basement. Those sort of things, folks. Gotta watch out for that.
Dude, my house was built so perfectly that it is higher. Like, there's literally all the land goes up towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not like on a hill, but like if you look at how our plot of land, you'll see that everything slopes away from the house.
That's exactly how you want it. Let the water run to everybody else's house.
It's awesome.
That's the plan.
The only issue we had was that the doorway into the basement is now an issue because it was built to withstand a certain amount of water and it would drain back down. Everybody that loves comics loves this conversation right now.
Oh, they love it. Yeah. They're like, what the fuck am I
But we had so much rain last summer that it actually did flood and get into the basement a little bit.
You never want water in your basement.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
That's when I went and bought pumps and sensors and...
Yep. That's when you make sure it never happens again. The Marvel Magic cards went on sale last week, last Friday. And so I tried to... The way they sell the Secret Lair cards, folks, now is like trying to get concert tickets. And everybody knew this Magic Marvel crossover would be insane. So I joined like a minute after the line opened up, and I was already in a 2-hour queue.
Wow.
Yeah. So they sold out like instantly. The funny part was the program that Wizards of the Coast used for their cards, you could literally you could add the stuff to your cart, and then when you went to check out, it would put you in a queue, and it's like, okay, you have a 2-hour wait to check out. There, if you just typed in the hyperlink above in your web browser, /checkout cart, it would have you skip the queue and you could just check out. So in the middle of this happening, everybody found that out, and so people were buying them, and then the people that were waiting in the queue were getting kicked out of the queue, saying your number doesn't exist anymore because somebody was essentially occupied. It was a shit show. And they can print on demand, so they don't know why they're doing this thing of a Kickstarter where you have, or not even a Kickstarter. It's like concert tickets where they sell out because so many more people would buy them, right? And when they do it this way, the only people that win are scalpers that are going to charge you, and Wizards of the Coast doesn't make money off that.
It makes me think if they're printing them on demand, then, and I'm going to go to a company that we've talked to a few times, Alterna Comics. If Alterna Comics, a small comic book publisher, can create a website that can basically act as a Kickstarter page,
right,
for their books, why can't Hasbro?
So this is the problem. So that's how the Secret Lair started off like that. And you would order your cards, and then the ordering would end after a week, and you would get the cards 3 or 4 months later. And people, some asshole small group of people online were like, well, I wanted my cards right away. So Wizards, especially towards Magic the Gathering, will always be like, oh, this is what our fan base is doing. Maybe we should change it up. So they're like, okay, now you can order them right away, and we'll ship them right to you the next day. But there's a limited amount. And now they've all been selling out. I was lucky to get the Monty Python, the Holy Grail ones, but these Marvel ones are insane. When you have a property like Marvel, and then the next one's going to be Final Fantasy, people are going to go crazy for that shit. So, just don't you want more money? I don't understand. But I sent you a picture of one of them. So back to the comic book side of it. all the secret layers always come with a bonus card. They never reveal the art. So for every Marvel set that came out, had a special Groot card, and the Captain America one had Groot with his own like a tiny Groot with his own little made up wooden shield.
That's phenomenal.
Yep, the Wolverine one I sent you had him like Wolverine. He had like a Chia Pet hairdo. Like the Storm one was like, I think Storm was like holding Groot in her hand. There was the Iron Man one had Groot in a little Iron Man suit. Oh, it was so cute. And I was like, damn, I kind of wish I bought them now, just because like I didn't, you never know what the secret card is going to be. But them doing a Groot version of each of them was just amazing. It was wildly popular, so I can't imagine they're not gonna. I mean, we have a whole Spider-Man set coming out, but we know that like people are gonna really come out for the Marvel stuff. It's just crazy to see two like huge IPs coming together.
Yeah, it's insane that it's real. Like,
yeah, and I'll tell you, it's made a lot of like people in the Magic community upset, but like people like me that just enjoy playing, I don't care if you're swinging at me with you have Spider-Man and Cloud from Final Fantasy all on the field at the same time, and like I have a giant dragon. Like, I really don't care. I'm just playing Magic. Like, some people get very upset about it, but they just don't play. Like, or go, play with your friends that don't use those cards. But yeah, I think overall it's going to be insane just seeing how fast it sold out. And if you look at Hasbro's numbers, the thing keeping them like afloat, that the only thing that's been profitable the last couple of years has been Magic from them. Everything else has been like awful. Yeah,
that's actually a little surprising.
But,
yeah, it's interesting. It's cool to see, but I think you do have some like Marvel super fans who are coming out to buy those as well.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. There's going to be. I mean, the whole idea is to get to more people into Magic. Like, the people that are playing Magic like me are already doing it. You're going to get people complaining about these other cards coming in, but they're not going to leave the game. You know what I mean? Like, no. They might leave, they might come back, but you're not going to leave. And they will get new players just for these, just these cards. So
we were kind of talking about it off mic, and I won't mention the specifics, but like, it's watching people throw a hissy fit and be like, I'm done with this, I'm going to this. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You will maybe for like a month or two or a week or two.
People will complain, but they'll just go back to it. It's like, I mean,
like, what are you gonna do? You gonna go play Lorcana?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of people playing Lorcana, I think.
There are, but like,
no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah.
They're coming back. Like,
yeah, right. You always
like, eventually they're, because the thing is they're mad about that, but then their choices are Pokemon and Lorcana, and like, I love Pokemon, but it's a completely different style of card game. Yeah. And Lorcana, while I haven't played it, let's assume it's similar. I've heard it's somewhat similar.
The new Star Wars game is actually it's like a simplified version of Magic.
Yeah.
And the new set just released. I don't deck build with those cards, but they come out with base decks every set, and the base decks they came out with, like, it's always like a pack of like one deck versus another. Mm-hmm. And this set was General Grievous versus Ahsoka, which is pretty sick. So
okay, let me get on Amazon.
Chris is like, what up?
No, but I don't see them moving to that. And if they do move to Lorcana, which is the closest thing from what I've heard, and you're mad about like Captain America fighting a planeswalker, like, how mad are you going to be when Mickey has a wand? Like, or like Mickey's fighting an undersea urchin. It
doesn't matter. It's just stupid. Have fun.
Yeah, just.
And I see it in Commander all the time, because people are just throwing, like, people I play against to like have Doctor Who decks. They have Lord of the Rings versus Doctor Who versus Fallout versus Assassin's Creed. It's already in the game now, and it's like, it's fine.
I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's just enjoy it. Yeah. But I think the Marvel set, when it comes out, is going to be insane. Like, the actual set next year, it's going to sell like crazy. It's just going to print money for them.
I definitely agree.
I was pretty surprised to see. I didn't know so Disney holds the D23. I didn't know they had one in Brazil.
I think it was in Brazil this year.
Oh, it changed. Okay,
I think it changes venue every year.
Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense.
I could be wrong, but let me. Oh no, it was,
because it's usually in Los Angeles or something like that.
Apparently, it was this weekend. How I didn't know that is beyond me.
Oh, okay. So we got a couple cool trailers out of it. Well, for Thunderbolts, it was a lot of the same footage that we've seen, but more of like a sizzle reel for the movie, where they did like a roll call of each of the heroes. So, or no, I guess they're not all heroes, right? Some of them are villains because you have like Taskmaster in there and stuff.
Well, Taskmaster is a villain.
Yeah, that's what I said. You have some villains in there.
Oh, they're except for Bucky.
I guess Bucky's, yeah. And White Widow, is that her name?
Yeah.
Which kind of turned a new leaf, but the scene with them in the Red Guardian mobile thing was hilarious.
Yeah, so I watched it, and it mostly looks good.
Yeah.
I'm getting, Mike, I'm afraid to say this out loud, I'm getting Suicide Squad vibes.
Yeah, it's like the first Suicide Squad.
Yes, not the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And that has me worried.
Yeah, like what do we, like, is the story going to hold up here? Are they just going to like put these people in a room and be like, okay, here's this, like, this will bring people to the show, you know?
It's not that hard. Like, it's basically any Suicide Squad comic. Like,
right.
You have Elaine Bennis after she's done working for Pendant Publishing, going to work for the government, and she gets a bunch of villains together, and they have some secret mission to do.
Mm-hmm.
What that mission is, I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to know until we see the movie. I'm sure it has something to do with Sentry. It's not a tough thing, but they've been showing too much quippiness.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with the Marvel style of, like, little jokey, little fun, lighthearted, but we can go too far with it. And
yeah, like
it's kind of these trailers are kind of reaching that limit for me, where I'm like, where's the action? Where's the serious nature of it?
Like, seeing U.S. Agent being joking is kind of like,
yeah, the whole I was the official Captain America, for like 2 weeks. Like, dude, no, just stop. You cannot put that line in the movie.
Yeah,
that's a thing you can do.
They're not good. They're like, oh, this is so smart. We have to do this.
So obviously, I'm there. I'll be at the theater. I'm concerned that it's not. I'm not seeing more. Like, even this sizzle reel they released is a lot of the same footage from the trailer that came out months ago.
Yeah, there wasn't any new footage.
Yes, it's expanded upon, but it's the same scenes. So there's part of me that's like, okay, you don't want to give away too much of the movie, because we do have criticism of they tell us the whole movie in the trailer.
Yep.
But then there's another part of me that's like, show me something more, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Give me another scene that maybe isn't just them cracking jokes.
Right.
But
yeah, the main plot has to deal with them taking down Sentry, because like you don't see him at all in the trailer, except for that one part.
Yeah, I think it's either taking down Sentry or taking down the Void that they then later on discover is a part of Sentry. But either way, he's involved somehow. I just want to see more. I'm excited that we have 2 actual Marvel movies coming out next year.
Yeah. And Captain America one on top of that.
So I'll take what I can get, but that's a great transition for you to the next one.
The new trailer, I would say this was the better out of the 2 trailers for sure.
Yes.
It was like it had like an eerie vibe to it with the like audio they were using, and like it's definitely espionage, right? Like that's what they're trying to. Like I almost felt like I was watching an episode of 24.
Yes,
with Kiefer Sutherland.
And I'm glad that they did that, because if we all remember, everybody's favorite Captain America movie was Winter Soldier, and that movie was very much like a action espionage movie. Yep. So I liked what I saw in this.
I think we saw Red Hulk destroying the White House in this trailer.
I saw something destroying the White House,
and it looked like that's pretty wild.
We got to see Harrison Ford's face on a Hulk.
Yeah, which I did.
That made me smile.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't look as bad as I thought it would.
I thought the action sequences with Anthony Mackie looked amazing.
Yep.
I think it's funny because I get why they did it, because it's easier to CGI.
Yeah.
But giving him the helmet.
Oh yeah.
Was a good touch.
Yep. That was pretty cool. It's for Bugs, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're flying around at that speed. You don't want to be without a helmet. Like, the glasses aren't enough, man.
Right, yeah.
If you've ever ridden on a motorcycle, you know the glasses are not enough.
You don't want a bug in your mouth either. Or a bird. I don't know. What the hell you... bird in your mouth.
We got a glimpse of the new Falcon.
Yeah. We got like a small...
Yeah, we got to see the back of his head.
The back of his head was it, yeah.
I think it looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for it. This one seemed to be the exact opposite of what Thunderbolts was, which I felt like there was next to no jokes or quippiness. It was all action. And that's what I want out of this movie.
The espionage of like there's like sleeper agents among them. Like that was the guy, that was the veteran character from the show, right? The Bucky and Winter Soldier, or the Falcon
the new
Winter
Falcon?
Soldier. The guy who gets like activated and attacks the president in the
the Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think he was like the guy from. He was the veteran that he was like he was one of the super soldier guys. I'm pretty sure. So it's almost like they're being activated like sleeper agents. And then what's his name from Breaking Bad and Mandalorian? His voice is very menacing.
Yeah, and if you remember, he was a late addition to the movie, so that's gonna be interesting to see how he's integrated into the movie and how well they brought those two things together. Yeah, I'm super excited.
He's talking about like this overarching thing of like, you know, there's other people behind the scenes. I wonder what that's going to reveal, like if it's another layer to the Marvel universe or something.
I think there's hints that he's part of the Serpent Society.
Okay.
And I almost wonder if he's going to be like an ex-agent or ex-like special ops, or maybe someone they also gave the super soldier serum to, because obviously he is an older gentleman,
right?
And would make sense to be similar age as Isaiah Bradley.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, like
So maybe he has the secrets behind it and is activating them. There's a lot of cool ways they could go with it, and then keep him around for future things. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. All around, this movie looks like it's coming together real well.
Yeah, there's a scene where he like slices the car in half with his wings.
That was awesome.
That was sick. I was like, damn, that's awesome.
That's where I was like, the Anthony Mackie Captain America scenes of him fighting and like doing action shit.
Yeah,
just looks so awesome.
Yeah,
and there's a little bit of like Iron Man in there with the flying.
Yeah.
So this is gonna have a lot of good stuff for everybody. This has the chance to be the movie that kind of brings people back to being like, okay, Marvel's back.
I'm excited. Action. I'm excited that Anthony Mackie like has a role on the big screen where he's called Captain America, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and that line is very important in this movie too, and they've done it in the comics too. Of like, you're no Steve Rogers. Like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. But I'm Captain America now, bitch. So
yeah,
I'm gonna do my thing. I think it looks really cool. And we have a little bit of sad news. I actually saw this in the Magic community. The legendary artist Greg Hildebrandt passed away at 85. Him and his twin brother got their name working on a calendar based on Tolkien's Lord of the Rings books. They were later approached by Fox to do legendary Star Wars poster that everybody knows and loves. Then they went on to work for book publishers, movie studios, later Marvel Comics. And they actually, the art that was in the Lord of the Rings calendar made it to the Lord of the Rings Magic cards. So now we're really coming full circle today. Greg has also worked on album artwork for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Black Sabbath, as well as did a cover for IDW's Star Trek comics. So legendary artist all around. It's pretty awesome that to have some cards in Magic with his iconic like Lord of the Rings art. I think that's really cool.
His were the borderless ones too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, a name I didn't know until later in my life, but that Star Wars poster was in my room for all of my life.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the iconic poster you see like everywhere.
Yes. That is the Star Wars poster, and I had a giant version of it in my room.
Oh yeah.
And then just seeing him and his brother did so many great things. They've done a ton of movie posters, and I loved looking up the stuff they did for Marvel. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then just so many covers throughout the year. It's the dude him and his brother didn't just do one thing. They did a lot of things, and they did it well. And they'll be known forever for it.
Yeah, he the art on the cards looks amazing too. It's like such an iconic way to still have people like playing with, you know, stuff that he did. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome stuff.
Let's see.
It's amazing because like I had heard about him first through the Magic community, and then seeing that he had done Star Wars and Marvel like after that, it's like, oh yeah, that's really cool that he got to do all those spaces.
Oh, that's right. They did a lot of classic Magic the Gathering cards too.
Yeah, like he did old school art on cards. Yeah,
it's actually funny. I'm looking through, and they did a lot of art during my age of Magic
in the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah, through that. So, like, a very important card that I played a lot, Druid's Call.
Yep.
Which, whenever the enchanted creature is dealt damage, its controller puts that many 1/1 green squirrel creatures tokens into play.
Oh, yeah. That's Chris's MO. More squirrels all the time.
That was their art.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then, you can see in the Middle Earth ones.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's sad to have him gone, but he's, I mean, there's no other way to be immortalized than have your art like in everybody's bedroom at one point in the 80s.
Yeah,
at the Star Wars poster. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, every Star Wars is the biggest thing ever, and like every Star Wars fan has seen or owned that poster at some point.
Oh, yeah. So, so you know, I think tonight is the last night. I think it's the season finale of the Penguin tonight. See episode 8. I think it's only 8 episodes.
I believe you're right.
Because I'm like, maybe I won't stay up for. Nah, I'm definitely gonna try to stay up because if it's the last episode, I got to see what happens. Just because it's been such a crazy roller coaster ride up until the end here. But I guess
8 episodes.
Yeah. So we'll talk about episode 7. Did you watch it?
I did.
Nice. Sophia Falcone goes like scorched earth. Wasn't expecting her to just like level the entire part of the city.
Yeah.
That was a little excessive. The story of like what happened to Penguin's brothers, where he like kills them, was really messed up. And like his whole jealousy and like his obsession with like getting love and admiration from his mom. So like, oh, this dude's been like a psycho his whole life. So it's like it almost makes you not feel as bad for it, right? You think like, oh, this dude's a psycho. Yeah, I don't know how he's gonna. I mean, he got out of the explosion and then they captured him. So I don't know what he's gonna do next. The fight with Salvatore Maroni, where he has a heart attack, was like, what the fuck? That was kind of hilarious. I mean, he did get like stabbed in the stomach, and it was probably on like some blood thinners or some shit. So he probably, I'm sure that like didn't help. Because I think he was stabbed when he was in jail. Got out.
Yeah.
But that was a crazy episode. The mom, we saw Vic. Vic wasn't hurt, or he was like hit over the head, and the mom is still captured. So we'll see what happens. I'm like 50-50 if Penguin makes it out of this or not in the last episode here.
I'm still 100% he makes it out of it, but
yeah,
I felt the flashback story with him killing his brothers.
Yeah.
So first, you'll be surprised to learn, Mike, that at first I'm like, fuck, we're not doing this origin story, are we?
I knew. I was like, oh, here we go.
But then when it ended and the Penguin theme came up,
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. That was actually really important because up to this point, they had been building Penguin up as kind of an anti-hero.
Right.
And that one was really important to say, no, this guy's a sociopath. Remember, he's a sociopath.
Yeah, like this was the episode to be like, oh no, you don't feel bad for him. He's a psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at how good the special effects are. Like,
yeah, it's like movie level special effects.
Like, dude, that explosion was fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't believe how well they did that.
That was like, it was a scene like out of the Batman movie. You know, that's what I felt like I was watching.
And that's why I think at the end of the day, he has, like, I still say they both have to make it out of this alive.
Right.
Because they're going to be the next Batman movie. They did not spend this much money on a show just to kill off everybody.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yeah. Which is like, you know, what if like I'm kind of watching tonight's episode because I'm hoping Batman shows up.
I don't think he will.
You don't think like just for like a few minutes at the end?
No.
You don't think Matt Reeves got him to do just a little like conversation when they were filming the movie, like, "Hey, we might want to use this later." Like,
I'd be very happy if they did.
That's why I'm like excited, Chris. I'm like staying up late, 9, 10 o'clock.
I'll be watching this like Wednesday night when I get free time.
I'm like, I gotta stay up and find out. I did, yeah, and like Sophia just going fucking full scorched earth, and like she wants to get out of the business but she's doing it in a psychopathic way. Yeah, it's nobody's a good person in the show.
No,
maybe Vic. Vic is still okay, but
Vic still has a chance, but I think he's gonna be corrupted by the end.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It came full circle that in order for Penguin to save himself, he had to go into the same duct that he killed his brothers.
That was amazing writing, really.
There's a lot of just back and forth between him and Hangman going like, I'm gonna kill you, no, I'm gonna kill you, and his mom, like, I still hate her, but she came out bad fucking ass in this episode.
Oh yeah,
when she's just like, my son's gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, she goes in and out of her like Alzheimer's moments where she's like, where is everybody? And she's like, yeah, my son's gonna kill you, bitch. I was like, wait, what?
I still think she dies.
For sure. I think so.
I was looking up afterwards trying to figure out. So when the doctor, Hugo Strange, has her in the room and he has that red light going.
Yeah.
You're a bigger Batman fan than I. Is that a Easter egg to something?
No, that's actually a type of therapy, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because so Katie explained that to me. That's like it's a form of therapy. I think they call it spotting, where you follow, like when you're going through trauma with people, you follow their eye movements when they're talking about certain things, and it's supposed to like it's a way to approach like mental health recovery and stuff. So yeah, like when you're talking about traumatic incidents and stuff, I think it's supposed to really help. But that because that popped up in the scene, I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, oh no, that's like a thing. And I was like, okay.
Here I'm laughing because here I am going like,
you thought it was like
brainwashing him, or
you thought it was like Brother Eye or something.
Yeah,
like I know, because it does look kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like different approaches to recovery stuff like that. But yeah, that's I would be. Yeah, it does look like he's like hypnotizing them, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
But no, I'm super excited, and there is some rumblings about that we might get another Batman universe TV show about the Joker, like, which if that's the case, like if that's what they use this show for, is like, okay, let's talk about the villains, and then Batman has his Batman movie. I'm okay with, as long as Joker isn't the villain in the next movie. Like, I'll be okay if we get the Joker show and then Joker stays out of the next movie. We get like Clayface or somebody cool like that.
I get why they want to do a Joker show.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
I don't want a Joker show.
No, I don't either.
I would actually be happier if they said, nah, forget the show. He's the villain in the next movie. Because I stand by the problem with the Joker movies.
Yeah.
Is that part of what makes Joker so sinister is not knowing
his origin story.
Yeah, he has 50 origin stories and we don't know which one's real.
Right.
Giving him enough screen, because then if the show is called Joker and he's not on the screen 30 to 50% of the time,
right,
then why did you call it Joker other than to get me to buy in?
Yep.
So then you're giving him too much screen time and he's too well known, and you take away the cynicism, the terribleness of his character. Like he needs to be in the background as much as possible. And pop up for the terrible moment where he does something crazy.
And I think that's why The Dark Knight was such a good representation, because every time the Joker was like, "Want to know how I got these scars?" He told a different story every time, and you're like, "Wow, that's really messed up." And then he tells a different story. You're like, "Wait, he's like lying." And then that sense of mystery or like unknown is like, what? This dude's a psycho. Like he's a So I know Barry Keoghan or whatever the guy. He's a really good actor that was going to play him. So let's see. I mean, I'm all for more Batman stuff. If Matt Reeves is tied to it, this guy, he's still hitting all the, from Planet of the Apes. I liked Batman. I'm liking this show. He can do it. He can do a series for sure. Like he has the ability to do that. I think part of the reason is it doesn't look like the budget's changed much from the movies. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Penguin.
Yeah, this is a great episode. First, I thought.
I don't know if we'll get a second season out of Penguin. I doubt it, but
I don't want a second season.
Yeah, we don't really need it, right?
I think if it ends the way I think it is, I want him to be a background player in the movie, the next movie.
Yeah, for sure. With a top hat and a monocle.
This episode was called Top Hat, by the way.
It was called Top Hat. Yeah, that was another thing. Him and his mom watching that movie together with the guy with the top hat and like the Burgess Meredith, like 1966 Batman Penguin costume, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool callback. I thought that was cool. But to see him in a costume like that in the show would be like kind of gimmicky. I don't know if
he's not this version of the Penguin. He's the mob boss, enforcer version.
Yeah.
I actually kind of wish they didn't give him the limp and just like made him. You remember like the really buff, just like he's gonna fuck you up in a street brawl.
Yeah.
Penguin.
Yep.
Like I kind of wish they just went with that version.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying what they're doing.
It's funny because I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse last night because I never watched Across the Spider-Verse, so I'm going to do that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how good Into the Spider-Verse is, like so good. But the way they depict Kingpin in that movie is just like a block with like a head,
with a tiny head.
With a tiny head. I'm like, this movie is an absolutely amazing movie.
Have you ever looked up from the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, the origin story of the Spot?
Oh no.
So the origin story for the Spot in that is that so it's the basic Spot origin story. A scientist comes up with the thing and becomes Spot.
Okay.
But the person funding it was Kingpin.
Oh.
And he wanted to take that power for himself to like do crimes and shit.
Yeah.
So there's an alternate universe in that show where the Kingpin is the Spot.
Oh my god, really?
And there's this awesome scene where he's like dreaming about it, and it's just Kingpin coming out of one of the Spot portals.
What the hell?
It's amazing.
That is amazing. I didn't know those things, and that's the '90s one, not like the '60s one. The '60s one was so bad. The Spider-Man cartoon.
All right, because it was that really like
awful.
Slow animation.
Yeah. And the villains are just really bad, and they use a lot of the same footage to like reshoot stuff. So it's like they're like driving up a mountain, and they're just going to the very top of a mountain. It's like they just keep running the same reel, and it's like it's bad.
Yeah, classic '60s, '70s cartoons.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some comic book stuff.
Comics.
Marvel's editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski said during a panel at Tokyo Osaka Comic-Con that in 2025 the Young Avengers would return in their own series. I can break some special news here. The Young Avengers will be reuniting in 2025 Marvel Comics. There have been 2 Young Avengers teams, but now we're deciding which characters for natural story reasons are going to join the new Young Avengers team. Kate, Hawkeye, Patriot, Hulkling, Wiccan. Who's going to join? You'll see in 2025. So, are you a Young Avengers guy, Chris? I didn't think so. Were you?
Never read it. I've heard it's really good. I heard the original series is really good.
Oh, okay.
But I've never read it.
It has the name Avengers in it.
Yeah, it's a little bit before. I think it's during one of those periods where I got laid off and I stopped reading comics for a bit.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So that's why I never read it. I would like to read it because I hear it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as them coming back, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah.
But a lot of these characters, Hulkling and Wiccan in particular, they tried to make them a big deal a few years back. And for me, it just didn't work.
Yeah, people weren't interested.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't work. and we haven't seen them really since. So it obviously didn't work for a lot of people. But good on them for bringing them back. It doesn't shock me too much. We just talked about Agatha All Along last week, the finale. Mm-hmm. They're obviously doing a Young Avengers project for the MCU. So, of course, because Kevin Feige's involved with Marvel Comics now, he probably told them, hey, we're doing a Young Avengers thing.
Yep.
So we need Young Avengers comics on the shelves.
It all lines up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it before.
So I would just like to see who's going to be involved before I say for sure. But it does say Avengers in the title, and usually my rule is that I'll try anything with Avengers in the title. So
I'll try it once.
Yeah.
Oni Press announced a new series from writer Chris Condon and artist Sean Curuneru, titled "The Goddamn Tragedy." That is a title for sure. Interesting that they're like putting it on the cover. Ellen Jansen. I just picture like a young child walking in the comic shop and like, Daddy, the goddamn what's.
Remember when there was a book called Sex?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and
yeah,
our retailer, because we had a few people that pre-ordered it, and our retailer wouldn't put it in their pull boxes.
Really?
Yes, because whenever they came in and they would put their books down, he would have it behind the counter, so that as long as there was no kids in the building, obviously,
yeah.
But so that when everybody's there, he could be like, "I have your copy of Sex right here, Sex." I was there many times when it happened. It was fantastic.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Shaming. Good on them for still ordering it.
And that was a book that was a book prior to Marvel doing it. That the last one I remember doing polybagging, because they did the sexy covers.
The sexy covers, yeah. Those were a lot of fun. And then they like some of those covers had like sketches in them. Like some of them you'd open up and they have a sketch in there.
Yes.
Okay, The Goddamn Tragedy. Ellen Jansen is here to set the record straight about the highly publicized, oft-sensationalized journey her family undertook in 1846. Ellen sets out with her mother, Irina, and her father, Leo, on the treacherous road west in search for a better life. But when her father chooses to split from the party, taking an untested shortcut through the mountains, can the small family survive the elements, wildlife, each other, or will their journey become nothing more than another goddamn tragedy? Okay. This doesn't really sound that interesting to me, Chris.
Chris Condon did the My Texas Blood, I think it was called.
Okay.
That I really wanted to read.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people are excited because it's him doing the Wild West again.
Okay.
And I guess that book's really good.
Okay.
And it's whose kid drew it? Sean Phillips' kid. Jake Phillips was the artist for that book.
Little Phillips.
Yeah. Who's also the colorist for Sean Phillips.
Interesting.
And you like Chris Condon's horror stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I can't remember what he wrote though. As far as horror books, the name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he had another book last week or 2 weeks ago.
He did some Cruel Universe, Epitaphs of the Abyss.
I gotta pull up the email now.
Night People. He did some Green Arrow, I guess.
Yeah, he worked at DC for a minute. Here we go. Goddamn Tragedy.
Oh yeah, Creepshow. He did it. Creepshow number 3. He did a story in.
Oh, I'm mixing him up with Michael W. Conrad.
Oh yeah. But no, he did have a he does have a story coming out in the next issue of Creepshow. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So he does write horror.
So I'd be willing to check it out.
Yeah.
To be fair with our review copy of it. But
oh well, yeah, that's true. I'm not a big Western guy, but if there's a review copy, yeah, I'll probably.
Yeah. What's interesting in the email, the press release email, is this is part of 5 new books that they're announcing.
Mm-hmm.
3 of which they've already announced. We've talked about them all. Free for All, The Plague House, and now The Goddamn Tragedy. And what's fun about the email is they blacked out 2 other books, and then when you highlight them to see like what's underneath it, it just says top secret, top secret.
Wow. Those bastards.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
So that.
Hey, let's talk about what we read this week. Comics. Lots of comics.
Yes.
I started catching up on Minor Threats Volume 1. I'm like halfway through it. It's really good. It was one of those series that I have Volume 2. I was like, shit, I gotta reread Volume 1. It's really good.
Were you reading the Barfly Man one?
No, that's going to be next.
Okay.
So I'm going to read that. I'm trying to get caught up on all the stuff. I read Ghost Lore Volume 2. That's the book by Cullen Bunn. So like the girl can talk to dead people and helps them pass on, and so can the dad, but the dad's just been like basically killing the ghosts, and she's been like actually listening to their story, and there's this kind of like faction of communities that have these powers. Like one is kind of like evil and they're like using like evil spirits to attack people. The other people are trying to help people like move on to the afterlife. So Volume 2 is really good. It's still ongoing, so I'll read Volume 3 when it comes out. Redcoat number 7. That was a sad issue, like you said, saying goodbye to old Einstein. But I'm definitely excited to see more Redcoat. Gatchaman number 4 was a fun action book. We get to see the B team in action for once, so that was cool. Batman 154. Interesting story. So we're seeing all the stuff come about of the last issue. We Batman might have, or Bruce Wayne might have a long lost brother from his dad having an affair with a nurse or something like that. They said the affair happened, but whether or not the brother's real or not, so they have to like investigate that. Batman's trying to like shake down the Court of Owls guy and Enigma because he thinks they're like behind everything, and they're like, no, we didn't kill the mayor. Don't know what you're talking about. And then there's at the end of the book, we find out that it seemed like the mayor's wife was having an affair with Jim Gordon, and he like pulls a gun out on Batman, and Batman gets pissed. He's like, "Don't pull a gun on me!" Like, and he said he was defending himself or something. I think, right? So like he might have killed the mayor. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there's a lot of mystery going on in this series right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to end up being that it was a self-defense thing. Like the mayor found out about it, attacked him.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. But I really like that we're doing Court of Owls stuff.
Yeah,
it's
like,
not just like retelling the Court of Owls.
Yeah, mentioning the Court of Owls being around is kind of nice. So I wish we got more of that.
Yeah,
because they're like, yeah, there's this secret society underground Gotham, and we just never talk about them anymore.
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah. So like having them in the fold was kind of nice. Yeah. So I did like that part of it.
I really like the issue, but
yeah, it was good.
It is just making me sad knowing that it's coming to an end.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the annoying part. Action Comics 1074. So yeah, yep, there it is.
Great cover.
Yeah, it is a really good cover. Superman's trapped back in time on Krypton. It's around the time when Jor-El is conflicting with like the Science Council. So that was like interesting to see like Kal-El in his lab, like, hey, I need you to recharge these bracelets, and he obviously doesn't reveal that he's the son of them. Then, you know, I think Jor-El gets arrested, and I think they arrest Superman too, right? Or something? Or they take his power bracelets away?
Yeah, so it's around the time that Jor-El creates the Phantom Zone projector.
Yeah.
And that's when we've seen it in other comics, but when they come and they take the Phantom Zone projector from him and for the Science Council, and they have Superman's bracelets that hold the solar energy in them, and they take those as well. And Superman goes like, "Hey, those are mine, not his," and they knock him out and kind of take him with them.
They're like, "Shut up, nerd! You stupid science nerd! Shut up!"
It's interesting to see him interact at a very important time in history in Krypton that we've seen many times.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
And
I'm sure the Phantom Zone projector is going to come into the fold of how he gets back to the Phantom Zone, I would think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I also wonder how this like affects Superman going forward. Because it's that Mark Waid's playing on, I hate to break everybody's like imagination here, but he's playing on the idea of we know what our history is,
right?
But the truth is a little bit worse than what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Superman going back in time and being like, I know my history of Krypton, but it's a little more brutal and a little bit rougher around the edges than I thought it was. And I'm interested to see how that works into the future of Superman and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting from like if it impacts him and the origin, but we'll see. I think Action Comics has been great.
Yes.
I'll save that one. Saga 70, Prince Robot goes to camp, and the clown is an undercover bad guy. I think it was I would say, Chris, like, I'm all for, like, the vulgarness of Saga. I've always been there for that, but I would say that the use of the C word was just a little, like, it really was just, like, it felt really, like, phoned in, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just like I feel like they throw stuff in the book now to be like, we got to shock you. It was like, come on, like.
I think it goes back to they've lost their way.
Yeah, it's like, and we're gonna do some stuff, and then here's a penis, or here's some vulgar like. Vulgarity.
The vulgarness was used as a part to show craziness of the world.
Yeah, right.
Now it feels like it's there because it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
completely agree.
It all goes back to my original complaint of I just think that the book has lost its way and it's slowly losing me as a reader.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't give a shit about Prince Robot going to camp. I will say the being that like comes the like camp counselor, that whole interaction was really cool, like the magic and stuff. But then I'm like, okay, that was like one cool character out of like the 20 new characters that have been introduced. Like all these other characters, I just don't like. Okay, we got the bartender; he's a shady dude, and then the clown guy is like, okay, like
yeah, somebody's selling drugs, maybe.
Yeah,
but I think that was supposed to be the clown was sending that message encrypted that everybody found.
Who knows? I just don't care.
It's getting close to the point where I'm dropping it. Yeah. And I've said this a few times now, but it really is. I almost feel like I'm buying it because I feel like I have to finish the run, and I need to get that out of my head and be like, no, like this isn't the book.
There's better books out there, folks.
Yeah, and you're not buying. And I say this to myself: you're not buying certain books because you're buying this book.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And Shazam 17. Freddy is turned into his version of Shazam with this lightning rock, and so like Billy's like, I gotta go figure out, he goes and sees Shazam and on the Rock of Eternity, I think, and is like, hey, what is this lightning bolt thing he's using? He goes, well, let's go ask the guy who made it. And so they go visit Hephaestus, the armorer and weaponer of the gods, which is awesome. I love this character. One of my favorite Greek mythology characters. They say that this lightning bolt, he's like trapped a being inside it that you can like choose good or evil, and it looks like he's choosing evil. So that's a pretty interesting storyline. And then Mary is in this big tech guru place that's up to some shady stuff with all these monsters and everything. It's all right. It's definitely gone from the story that I really liked, but I think it's going in an interesting direction. So we'll see.
I didn't get to it this week.
Okay. Nemesis Rogues Gallery number 4. We find it's an origin story for the old sidekick of Nemesis. That's the person who's actually trying to kill Nemesis. So there's this huge fight in the prison. And then at the end, they were trying to get a ticket to an island or like be part of this other billionaire island. And so at the end, he says, okay, we're going to Epstein's other island, is what they said. Just like, oh my God.
Typical Moir, going edgy as all it can be.
How edgy can I go? Epstein's other island. Oh, so there's another one. So I mean, the book's fun. That's all it is. You don't take it too seriously. And again, like I said, it's the R-rated 60s Batman and Robin. Is what it is. But yeah. And then, okay, so I got a few more. Let's do these in order. Plastic Man No More, number 3. Really good issue. He leaves he makes this big stink about leaving the Justice League, and they're just like ignoring him as typical. He's trying to tell them that all the Metal Men are dead, but he saved what was it, uranium, I think. He convinced his son to get hit by the bomb with him, to save them from this depolymerization. And Detective Chimp does some detective work, so it was a really good issue, and finds out that he lied to the Justice League and he was the one that ended up killing the Metal Men. And so what happens is he's working with the No Face guy, the villain, and he flamethrower torches Detective Chimp and kills him. So that's where we left off. It's kind of spiraling out of control. Yeah. Okay, so last two. We're going to talk about Absolute Superman number 1. This is the Jason Aaron, Rafa Sandoval. There it is. I said solid first issue. So we get a glimpse into Krypton, and there's this interesting class system of Krypton, and and that's what the symbols mean. They're not like family symbols; they're class symbols, which I think is interesting. Superman's family comes from the lowest labor class. Krypton's dying. We know that story, but his dad works in the mines as a miner, and understands where to mine, where not to mine. And survives this whole thing while he's in the mine, is trying to warn people that the planet's dying. Nobody believes him. Same old Jor-El shit. But then on Earth, we see people are in these labor camps, and Superman is hiding out, and he's a younger Superman, I think, than we typically see.
Looks to be 1920.
Yeah. And the people that control the mines are peacemakers, which is interesting. They all have the peacemaker helmets. And he's been helping them either mine the ore as quick as possible, and then the peacemakers catch on, and they start to The company that owns everything is called Lazarus, so Lazarus Pits, right? And he gets caught and like found out, so he has to have a fight with the Peacemakers, and we see him get caught by a special. They send in this like task force to catch him because they've been looking for him. And Lois Lane happens to be this agent that catches him, which is an interesting twist, right? Lois Lane's dad was always a general, so naturally she could follow in his footsteps. And then we find out like Brainiac is kind of behind the orchestrating of everything and all these mines and everything. So, interesting first issue, I'd say.
And that Brainiac's base is at the old Kent farm.
Oh, that's where it was. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's at the old Kent farm, which was interesting.
So this, I really love this issue.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it all week because I still place Batman first, Superman is now second, and Wonder Woman's third.
Okay.
And I was trying to think of, because they all have origin stories attached to them.
Yep.
And I like the way that Batman delved out the origin story.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, this one's good too, even though it's not my preferred method of delving out an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, like, well, I liked it because it doesn't sit on it as long as Wonder Woman did.
Right.
So I went back and I started reading or counting pages.
Yeah.
It's the exact same page count. So it's how the story was told.
Yeah.
I just think it was more action focused and less lore focused, I think is what it was.
Yeah. I mean, I think Superman was probably my third. I'd probably go, I don't know, Batman, Wonder Woman at the top, really. I really liked Wonder Woman. And
yeah. These are all like books that when issue 2 comes out are top of the stack books.
Yeah, they're all really good. Yeah, I want more, that's for sure.
Yeah. But I like the way he delved out the origin story and the changes he made throughout it. So, and just see all these characters. Like you said, the Peacemaker is like a special forces operation.
Yeah.
I like seeing Lois Lane in a different, like more of a badass, like she could take down anybody role.
Yep.
And then the twist that Brainiac has the Kent farm was awesome.
Yeah. So I wonder if that means if he landed, like, if he was the one that he like crash lands at the Kent farm and like takes it over and like kills Ma and Pa Kent.
Maybe. I'm sure we're gonna find that out.
Yeah, right. Like that'll be his origin.
At the same time,
yeah,
they did so at the same time. While Wonder Woman's my least favorite of the three, right? But I feel like her origin is like done, and we don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
The other two books, we're still gonna get things delved out because we still don't know how Superman came to Earth, when he came to Earth, where he landed.
Yeah, what was he doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
So juggling there.
And we didn't talk about the backup story in Action Comics, but we still don't know who the villain is.
No, yeah.
So stupid. And then last book I had was JSA #1 by Lemire and Laura Tegui. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. Starting off with a guy getting like shot in the head by his teammate, a guy shooting his teammate in the head, and then not to talk to Cobra because they're like catching people who are part of Cobra, which is like this evil organization. So we get the story where the older JSA is trapped in the Tower of Fate and they're trying to like save them or like find where they are. We get the new team really trying to find them, and Obsidian is like throughout the issue, Obsidian's like almost crossing a line with like catching criminals and shit, and then we find out that it's Johnny Sorrow pretending to be Obsidian and that he's relaying info to the Injustice Society, like sitting around a table. I think it was like a straightforward issue. We don't know why the original JSA members are trapped. They're the Tower of Fate. There's an Injustice Society, so I think it's a solid start, and it doesn't really lean too heavily in with the shit that Jeff Johns is trying to do. So I think overall it was a solid first issue. I'm just interested to see where it goes.
I think the pages where he discusses Jeff Johns' run are better than the entire Jeff Johns' run.
Yeah, exactly. He was kind of just like a lot of catch up, move on.
It was a lot of like, there was a JSA.
Yeah.
There was another JSA.
Right.
They had kids. They had sidekicks. Now they're the JSA.
Right.
All right, let's go forward.
Yeah. Okay, now we're good. We don't need to talk about this other JSA on the 31st century or anything like that. We're not.
I really like the issue. I thought it was really good. I like having the Injustice Society around.
Yeah.
Giving them like a Legion of Doom to play with.
Yeah, that was cool.
And it leaves a mystery of like, why is the original JSA stuck at the Tower of Fate and what's going on there? Yep. So I think there's a lot good here.
No, I think it was solid. And yeah, for sure, they kind of just like threw out a lot of the shit Jeff Johns did. So,
Yes.
Yeah, because his issue they ended on in the 31st century. Remember the new JSA? They're like, here, we have a spot for you in the Legion. It was like, what are you doing? What are you guys doing? Jeff Lemire was just like, nah, we're not doing that.
Still waiting on them to announce a Legion book.
Oh god. But that is all I got to this week.
All right, well, I don't got too much more because I have the Avengers number 20.
Nice.
So if you remember, Mike, in last issue, there was like a 2-page thing where Black Panther was going to go into this crystal and figure out what was going on there, because that's where the vampire from Bloodhunt came from.
Okay.
And so this issue is Black Panther inside the crystal. And
nice.
Essentially, it's like an alternate dimension. All these different beings from different planets, different worlds, have been sucked into this and are forced to live inside this dimension. And things aren't going so well.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Panther is going around basically taking out all the crime bosses and trying to unite the people.
Okay.
And so it's literally just him going like, he goes to one, picks a fight with them, kicks his ass, takes over his entire gang, and then melds him with like his group of revolutionaries. And they're going to go from crime boss to crime boss and take them out.
That's awesome.
So it's an interesting little side story. You can tell it's them buying time until the Doctor Doom stuff hits.
Mm-hmm.
But I did enjoy what was there.
Cool.
Void Rivals number 13.
Nice.
Essentially, the two lead characters we have gone back to their side of the planet and are answering for what happened while they were there. And the one, Agoria, his dad's like the emperor of their side of the planet.
Okay.
And he's trying to explain to his dad what's going on. And it's a whole, like, his dad's disappointed in him and, that whole shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that basically the reason that the two sides are at each other's throats is because there's a fear that when they unite, there will be some sort of event that could either be the end of the world or the beginning of something new. But there's a superstition it's the end of the world.
Okay.
And we found out in past issues that this world was created to basically generate energon.
Mm.
So my feeling is that if they unite, then the world will like just be shooting energon fucking left and right. And that was the point of the planet.
Okay.
Which is why there's like Transformers there and everything. So it's an interesting book. I'm not a big Transformers guy, but it's a Robert Kirkman book, and it doesn't delve too much into Transformers stuff. They just kind of show up once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how G.I. Joe meshes in with it, but maybe we'll see, maybe we won't. And I have the Ultimates number 6.
Nice.
So, quick backstory for you, Mike, for everyone out there who's not reading Ultimates. Hulk is one of the people working for the Maker and is like ruling over one of the sections of Earth.
Okay.
And basically this issue is the new Ultimates team is going to come together for the first time, and their mission is to take out the Hulk. And when they get there, so first I gotta say, this is the first time we see Jim Hammond, Human Torch, and like actual function in this, so that was great. But when we see them, they're going into this place, and they've got this doorway. They go through it, they'll be where Hulk is, and they're giving this big speech, and then Hulk gets there, and it's they realize where they are, and it's what's the city that Iron Fist rules over?
Lucan, Lucan. Is it Lucan?
I don't read a lot of Iron Fist, so
Kun Lao.
Kun Lao, that's
Kun
right,
Lao.
yeah. So they found out it's Kun Lao.
Yep.
And not only is the Hulk, but he's also the Iron Fist.
Nice.
So
awesome.
They go to fight him, and he's just using the Iron Fist on them while also being a super rage monster.
That's amazing.
And then he finds a bunch of monks from Kun Lao who he's been training, gives them like a shot that turns them into gamma monsters.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden the Ultimates are fighting like a bunch of Hulk-like monsters, and one of the Hulks is also the Iron Fist.
That's awesome.
They get their asses kicked. And they quickly, Dr. Doom, aka Reed Richards, quickly finds a way to get them back after just being annihilated. Like Iron Lad, Tony Stark, is crushed. She-Hulk, her arm is ripped off. It just doesn't end well. And the big reveal at the end of the issue is that they think that Iron Man's dead, and She-Hulk holding him with like one of her stubs.
Oh damn!
I mean, like, he's dead. So it was a really great issue because a lot of action, but I also got to commend the balls to kill off probably the main character. The character we've been following the whole run, and say he's done.
That's pretty
I'm interested to see if he actually is done, but it's a ballsy move if they go through with it.
Yeah.
So I really like this issue. I think it was a great start for the team proper, and look forward to what's next. And then for my retro reread series this week, I read JLA Avengers number 3.
Nice.
Great fucking wraparound cover.
Yeah, that is amazing. Wow.
So last issue, like, Krona won, and he got all the different artifacts. He killed Galactus, stole all of his knowledge. And now we're in a space where reality is basically being bent. So Captain America and Superman are realizing that things aren't right, and they keep jumping from different times in the reality. And it's a cool moment because there's a whole conversation of like, no, we've been crossing over forever. Like, remember when Ultron and Amazo teamed up and we had to take them out? And like things like that for page after page. And then the two realize like, no, this isn't right. And it destroys the illusion in front of them. And they realize that the two worlds have been meshed together. And it was almost like in Crisis when you see the two worlds coming together.
Yeah, right.
So it's that, and they're slowly starting to destroy each other. And not just heroes and villains, but regular people are going from world to world and being transported. And long story short, they found out that Krona has been trapped in between the two worlds by the Grandmaster at like the last second. And while he killed the Grandmaster in the process, Krona is still there. But the concern is that with all of his power now, if he's unleashed, he could destroy all of reality. So now the teams have to unite to figure out how to defeat Krona.
Now they got to team up.
Yeah.
Nice.
This was also a really great book because while it takes place in a certain time in both these comics histories, these companies' histories, they use the mending of reality to be like, wait, Wally West was Flash, but this is Barry as Flash. Or like Kyle Rayner's Green Lantern, but that's Hal Jordan in the background.
Right.
And like, see, like they use the shaping of reality to be like to show classic characters and things that happen. So it's a really great issue. It's a really great series. Next week I'll talk about the finale. But
nice. It's awesome.
If you can get your hands on JLA Avengers, do it.
You gotta try.
It's so fucking good.
You gotta try.
So Mike, that is everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter, X, or can you find you and or the show?
You can find me on X or pretty much any social media network at Fortress Chris, also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And you can find the show at Fortress Comics _ on X and Instagram. I don't talk about Instagram enough. And also at fortresscomicnews.com. If you want to support the show, 5-star reviews and podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below in the YouTube version. And also patreon.com/fortresscomics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see y'all here next week.
See ya.